Hare Krishna. Welcome to a brand new episode of Frankly Speaking. This time we have a unique guest in our studio, Her Grace Bhakti Lata Mataji. Mataji, welcome to the
Hare Krishna.
podcast.
Yes,
It's
Srila
an
Prabhupada.
honor and privilege to have you here. More than 4 decades plus of service in Srila Prabhupada. It's our pleasure and honor to have you here, Mataji.
My pleasure to be here.
And how was your childhood? Like a typical Indian, brought up in a simple culture, middle class family, or you were by default Krishna consciousness was there, the spark was there, or after coming in touch with Prabhupada or teachings of Prabhupada, that spark became a flame. How was your childhood by and large?
See, the background, my family background, I'm originally from Kerala. And to go back maybe 2 generations, my grandfather was the last Diwan of Travancore. And he was working with the last king who was there. He was very pious individual, very straightforward, very principled. And my mother had a fairly affluent upbringing. My father was from Kuttanad, and he was the son of a Nambudiri, one of the Taravad Nambudiris there. So somehow these people got together and got married. And then I'm the first daughter. We had 3 sisters. And the first part of my father came away from the village background, and he became a mechanical automobile engineer. And his first job was in Standard Motors in Chennai during the time when I was born. Then he moved to Telco in Jamshedpur. And after about 6 years of service there, we came to Chennai. And there he was with TVS and Best and Crompton and so on.
So you had traveled all across India, probably.
Not very much, really. In the north, Jamshedpur, and in the south,
these 2 places.
Chennai. I only visited Kerala during my vacations.
Just like most of us.
Yeah. Most of my studies and school and college were in Chennai. So I did my specializing in teaching, English teaching. And it's during one of those, I was with Chinmaya Mission to begin with, teaching. No other spiritual connections.
You were teaching English there? Right?
Yes. So I was teaching English for the high school +2 and so on. And then within about 2 years of my service there, somehow I was made headmistress of the junior school. That was unheard of at 22 or 23. Anyway, so they picked me because they found that I was inclined to hearing spiritual things, because we used to have a weekly session for teachers, and most of the teachers were not interested. I was showing some inclination. So when the previous principal of the junior school retired, they tried me out. Unfortunately for them and fortunately for me, that's when I bumped into the devotees. They came for one Janmashtami special session.
In the school?
In the school. Very coincidentally.
This is in Chennai?
Chennai.
In the year 19?
End of 70s, early 80s. So I was really curious who these people were, because they were most of them were Westerners. Then I went up and spoke to them. They told me that the temple in Chennai was very close to where I used to live. It's about 2 or 3 kilometers. So I went there and then got to know about what Krishna consciousness is. And subsequently, I kept going for morning and evening classes there. Every day, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. It was on a regular basis. And in a few months, I got, what shall I say? My greatest attraction to, becoming more and more involved with the deities of Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra. I have never seen these deities before. And somehow, the Chennai unit was a very quiet place in Kilpaw Garden, completely residential. And the ambience was really good. And they had one of those luxury bungalows. And, Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra really blew my brains. So I was very attracted to them. So I kept going. Gradually, I started doing service, garland making service. I would go from school to the market and bring the flowers, make the garlands, take them by late evening so that they could be offered in the morning. Very simple services. And as I heard the philosophy, I was inspired. Not that I was some philosophical person or anything, but it just inspired me.
What was your reaction when you started practicing these principles? Your parents, your...
So, we came from a sort of upper middle class, and my father was very particular that he brought us up independent. So he was not too much of the, too much of Indian conservative. So since he had no sons, all his 3 daughters were like his sons. So he was tough with us, and then he also allowed us space. But of course, they thought they just couldn't understand what was happening, mainly because of the foreigners being there. And if at all anybody knew about ISKCON at the time, I'd never even heard of ISKCON. They always had some kind of skeptical opinion. Since I was very determined, once I make up my mind, I stick to it. So they just took it in their stride. Very soon, in a few months, my mother and my sisters also gave up tea, coffee, and all those things, and they started chanting. And my father was still skeptical. It took him some time. Then he actually came to check out what I was doing. And then he
visited the temple. And
at the temple, what was going on there. So then somehow, within a year, he also was impressed. And
so the entire family became Krishna conscious?
Yeah, that took about 2 years for that. Then within about 8 months of my association with the temple, I went to Mayapur. And there, that 11 Guru Diksha, the grand darbar of 11 Gurus.
Gyaro Maharaj. Gyaro Maharaj.
Okay. So they were all there, and it was quite awe-inspiring, I have to say. And so all of them were giving initiation on Gaur Purnima Day. So I happened to be taken from Jayapataka Swami. And then...
You took initiation alone, or your sister or family?
No, I took alone.
And you were there alone for initiation?
Yes. Okay. That was the first time I was going to Bengal or Mayapur.
On your own?
I mean, it was totally alien place. Yeah, tell me.
You were inspired to go all alone, and you were planning to take Diksha, or you happened to
No, I went to take Diksha.
Okay.
So I was there for about a week. And anyway, everything is so confusing during Gaur Purnima. There are only foreigners all over the place, and so many, unusual things happen. And because all these big, the 11 gurus were there, every time you happened to cross them, you had to pay obeisance. And it was like, you didn't know when to not pay obeisance. So it was like that. And it was pretty strange and new experience. Then I came back and I continued for a short while with my profession.
Your parents were aware that you had done this?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So then I came back, and in a short while I said, I didn't want to continue my job. And I started going on book distribution with one small kid. You can call him Brahmachari. So we used to go on book distribution. In a van.
Mataji, when you said that I don't want to continue
working,
how did they take?
No, by then they had already realized that I was too much into it.
Okay.
And how did they take? Because, my father himself was a very different kind of person.
The fact that they empowered all 3 girls to be whatever they want shows that.
Yeah. So he was different.
Both liberal and conservative simultaneously.
Yes. So they thought, they had no clue, because I myself didn't have any clue what I was
just
getting.
Moving the flow.
I was just moving. I had no idea about the institutional structure, the the people behind. It was just Yogamaya, It was just, everything was looking absolutely marvelous. So, that's how it was. And then...
you talk about book distribution.
I went, on book distribution. And so there was this small boy and myself. And we used to go to Chennai's very busy places to distribute books. And so my colleagues used to see me there. And they used to think, this is what you've given up your job for. So I said, yes, I like doing this. So that went on. And then I had years KC teaching in one of the schools in Trivandrum, after which I came to Bangalore.
Since you mentioned that your colleagues saw you doing this book distribution, most of you watching this online would also be doing that book distribution, say Sadhika followers, say women in practicing Krishna, or even folks who are practicing Krishna consciousness, they will be like, kya kar raha hu main? So, any thoughts for them, any words for them?
Well, the point is, if once you're convinced that this is the best thing that I can have, we have to be convinced about ourselves first. Then it's a joy to give somebody else. The inhibition comes when I'm uncertain. When I'm so sure, then why should there be any inhibitions, right? So in Bangalore today, a lot of women do book distribution, and I think they do better than men, actually. And they're very proud to do what they're doing. Even sadhikas, we have a whole group of sadhikas doing book distribution. And they feel that, it's something that Prabhupada loves. So if we do it, it's going to please him. The spirit is totally different. I mean, we're talking about 40 years back. And that's, when I sit back and think, it's like 2 to 3 generations back,
So in Trivandrum, you were there, and no.
No, this was all in Chennai.
Okay, all in Chennai.
Yes,
okay.
yes. I never lived in that Trivandrum part. So I was there, did a little bit of KC teaching in a school there. After which I came to Bangalore. And ever since then, I've been in Bangalore.
You've been in a brahmacharini ashram?
Brahmacharini ashram? No, I was practically the only brahmacharini. Okay. So it was naturally an ashram. Only I was there. And because in those days, there was hardly any educated women joining. So within a year...
There were women joining those days?
Yeah, but they were all, like...
From Bengal?
Bengal, and usually joining after marrying these Westerners. I really didn't find any single ladies. Maybe in Mayapur there was. Bangladeshis and Bengalis from that area. Krishnanagar and all those areas. So... within a year of my coming to Bangalore, my sister Chamari, she joined.
She joined Bangalore? She
joined Bangalore. She came and she was with me after that. So Bangalore has been, like 38 years, more than 38 years of living.
If I ask you, was it a flashpoint or the conviction what you had in Prabhupada to fully dedicate yourself for this cause? What was that turning point or a flash which made this happen? This is the way it has to be.
To begin with, I thought that being part of the Krishna consciousness movement was being a full-time missionary. I didn't know about this congregation and all that because only people I saw were brahmacharis. And they were all in saffron and that's what they were doing. And so for me, joining ISKCON meant becoming a missionary. You see, so because it's not that I was fascinated by what was going around in my life or what was going around in my other aspect of my life. So, this made definitely more sense than anything else was.
Because for us today, ISKCON is a brand and the huge temples and there's a...
Right. I know. In fact,
days,
it was very different, and that's why my parents were worried, and most people were worried because ISKCON worked out of a rented house, usually 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom house, and they had this altar, and most of them had Jagannath or Gaurnitai, and none of them familiar, totally unfamiliar deities, and they wondered. So Yes, that's what I'm saying. I was really overcome by some inspiration. I wish it was there all along. But there was a point of being overcome by that inspiration, and that's how I joined. In fact, there was before I took initiation from Jayapataka Swami, I had met Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami, and since he was also in the education line, he told me to go to Manipur. That there was a Gurukul there. I could go there. I was just like 23 or 24 at that time. You go there and so actually that evening I came back and told my mother, so I'm leaving now. I'm leaving now for Manipur.
Yeah.
And my parents were so bewildered that they didn't even know how to respond. So I never knew anything about this institution. For me, it was just the knowledge and Krishna. And slowly I was getting to become familiar with Prabhupada. But in those guru-heavy days, there wasn't much talk of Prabhupada. It was the gurus that were mostly in the forefront, as of now anyway. So...
so you dropped the Manipur thing for Bangalore?
Yeah. No, I dropped the Manipur thing for Jayapataka Swami.
Okay.
Because it all depended on who was being marketed more forcefully. And Jayapataka Swami came after this. So when I told him this, I mean, they used to take all the new people to meet the gurus. So when I told him, he said, no, you don't have to go there. Why do you want to go there? So like that. So everyone was pushing for initiation from their guru. So just by default it happened. Not that I knew him or I had any. Actually, this was all, I was in a state of material bewilderment. But since I was focusing on KC, all this didn't matter to me. What politics, what people used to say, that institution full of politics. So I used to say, what? I don't see anything. I don't see anything because I don't know anything. So it was like that.
Today morning we had podcast with Satvik Prabhu. Satvik Prabhu just mentioned.
Satvik Prabhu was known to me during those times. In fact, when I started going to Chennai temple, his brother was the temple president. Uttama Shloka Prabhu. Yes, yes.
He was mentioning both of you were coming regularly and then how Madhu Pandit Prabhu came in. And when did you meet Madhu Pandit Prabhu?
Bumped into him during the Trivandrum. I was there for a year, going to that school and teaching. And both our families happened to be, finally located in Trivandrum. Because my grandfather was Divan there. And my maternal relationships were mostly in Trivandrum. Although they're originally from Mavelikara and all that. So
in Bangalore you were with Prabhu?
Yeah. Yeah. So, So then we came to Bangalore. And in a year, my sister joined. And then...
when your sister joined, again, what was the reaction? Just want to...
by then it was an accepted fact in the family that, this is what we will do. It's not spoken, but generally accepted. I really don't know if you ask me those questions. I frankly don't know.
Because relatives and dear and near ones, young lady joining temple.
No, that way,
these days, brahmacharis joining is a big deal. Those days, women joining.
So you can imagine the amount of mystical input that went into it. It's just sheer mercy, nothing else. It's just one blast of mercy that fell upon us. That's all. And we were not so into relatives and such. My father was not so much into that aspect because he had come away. He was independent and he had his own life. So of course nobody understood what we were doing, but they always knew that we were different. Our family was different, so it was not
that
so.
That was not a big challenge for you those days.
No, yeah.
Mataji, when you started with Madhu Pandit Prabhu in Bangalore, what were the circumstances? Today, any temple we go, at least our group of temples, we have that luxury of comforts and there's a system, there's a setup. Those days, how was it? Can you just give a glimpse of those days?
Okay. In Bangalore, it was a 2-bedroom house, 2 or 3-bedroom house on the ground floor. The living room was there was an altar. They have this living cum dining. So the end of the room was the altar. There was a wooden altar with Nitai Gaur. And
those Nitagore what we have in the altar.
not the tiniest, the Utsavars.
Utsavars.
Yeah. So they were there, and it was one of the houses in that residential area, and none of the people around could figure out what is going on there. Absolutely not. Only thing is, on Sunday, since we were providing free prasadam in the evening, many people used to just come for that. And not, actually, I don't think any of the affluent people came. It was more of the simpler people who wanted to eat something and that sort of thing. And it was a very small operation. And, we were staying in another building close by, where there was my sister and another girl was there, Brahmacharini, and they were in one room, and there was another elderly couple in another room. Actually, after marriage, my first, I entered the kitchen of that house was my residence. So Prabhu and I used to live in the kitchen, and so that's how. So for me, it's a whole different.
How do you take it? You're coming from such a family, and you have to stay in a kitchen.
It didn't strike me because I told you I thought I was going to become a missionary. In fact, I didn't even know that this marriage business was there. I was thinking someday I'll wear saffron or white or whatever. So that's a very rare perception for an Indian girl. So, because most people, 90%, 95% of the girls who are in the institution have come through marriage, have not.
True.
And so for me, it was to live in the kitchen. I wasn't surprised because I'm supposed to be a missionary. I never thought of it, you see. So, yeah. And that's how it was. Then later on, we moved to another building in a higher social area, more socially affluent area. There also, we had a better building, better facility, and that's when our Krishna Balram Utsavar came. That's when they were installed. They were little. Then there were some. So the main building was the temple on one floor, and the kitchen, and then there were brahmachari rooms and prasadam hall, and there was an outhouse of about 6 rooms, where by then some Bengali pujaris and all had come. They were there. In this system, Prabhu and I were living in the garage of the house. We had to shut the shutter down, and we raised it up, and then we built a small parapet as a window, and that's where we lived till we got this land. And so those austerities never struck as austerities. And now when devotees complain, it's so difficult to understand. So when I say, do they really need all this? People tell me, you don't know, that was another generation. This generation is a very pampered generation, and they won't take anything, with a pinch of salt. They need everything the way they want. But that was, I think, really, that was the real mission spirit, as I understand it.
You said that Krishna Balram came in. So how did Krishna Balram came in? What was the thought process? You had Nitaya Gauranga.
Yeah.
Then how did you get?
Yeah, because we wanted to become a little more available for people to understand us. So we thought we'll take one step, okay, and then we will get Krishna Balram. And there also we thought we should get Krishna Balram. Krishna should be like the Udupi Krishna. See, it was all to fit into the culture of that region, because people never understood what we were doing. And of course, we used to say, chant Hare Krishna. That's at least one thing they could relate with. But from the point of view of deity worship and all, they just couldn't. And deity worship is also so different. So during that period, actually, my sister, to some extent, my sister and I, we did a lot of the deity services. Basically, all the daily abhishek, And there were times when I was doing some of the daily puja, opening the altar and such things, because Prabhupada had allowed that, and we didn't have that many devotees who could stay during the day. They would do the morning and go away, preaching and so on. So we blow the conch, open the curtain, and because not many people were there, so we got away with it.
Where did you get them, Krishna Balram? How did you get them?
Krishna Balram were manifested in a place called Kumbakonam, which is near Trichy, and it is Trichy and Tanjore. So that again, between Madhuban Prabhu and me, we said, the usual ISKCON system is to have marble deities. But then somehow, that's what I'm saying, we didn't really understand. It's just, I think it's a bit of that cultural background that we had that was helping to navigate through this. So I completely wouldn't accept that marble deities will fit well in South India. South Indians cannot understand marble deities. And in South India, all deities are either granite or Panchaloha. So, that kind of became a very strong point from there on for all deities that came after that. So then we just tried, we walked down the street and we saw a shop. They were casting deities. So we went there, and then we didn't have much exposure. It was later on that we got to know much more by the time our main deities came, big deities came. So they said, they agreed, and they didn't know how naive and, completely new we were to this. So we used to sit there. There were times when either both of us were there, or Prabhu would have to go back to Bangalore, and I was there alone. And I used to have to sit in that shed, which is just on the main road, and make these guys work to finish a particular thing throughout the night. And we used to go by, state transport bus, stay in lodges, and that's how, we go.
In Kumbakonam, all alone.
All alone. Of course, I know Tamil, so that was, I was very comfortable with the language and with the culture of the place. But all the same, I think it was all very, very inexplicable mercy. That's all I can tell you. Yeah.
These features of Krishna Balram, how did you get in those features?
No, see, what happened was the Tamil Nadu style, the Shilpa Shastra of Tamil Nadu, they have a particular style, and they have proportions, and nothing is just created like that. They go by the Shastra. So in ISKCON, since we move closer to realistic looking deities. So then, by then I had learnt in the few years, I had observed that the eyes have to be bigger and the features have to be more pronounced. And, it's just things that, we gathered during our observation and whatever that was. And in the case of Krishna and Balram, we wanted them to be chubby. So they become a little chubby. But still, it can never, it's not realistic. Realistic in the sense of human realistic features. It's more divine. They call it divine features. The Tamil people. They are not very happy to make them realistic, human realistic. So that was, they were very supportive. Only thing when I said, no, make the eyes bigger, they said, but this is not the way we do it. I said, no, it doesn't matter. That's the way we want it. So, like that.
Then when we got this land, any things which you want to share with the MPP had not shared, or even if you have shared something, how did you get the land and the spot where the Radha Krishna Chandra would be standing? So,
there was this desire that Krishna Balram should have a bigger place. And so just like when we were in the small house where I first went in Bangalore, we wanted a bigger place. So we came to a better locality. And then, so we used to keep, he used to have a bike. So we used to go around on the bike looking where there are lands.
And people used to go
Yeah. And we used to look for land. So anyway, once we came across this hillock, and we thought maybe if we drove up, it was totally, you couldn't even go up really. So I said, this will be a nice place for the deities. So when we went up the hill, we found that it was very rugged. What you see now is not what it was. It had no shape. We saw some tulsi plants were growing there. So I said, really strange why tulsi plants should go in this. That's overridden with thorn bushes and such. So then Prabhu said, let's find out whether this is available. And so the whole journey started from there, of the land. Nobody had even noticed this land because it was a written off. It was a written off place.
Land.
Yeah, it was written off. And who was going to spend money and get this into any shape? Only Krishna can do that. So we got it into shape. And when we got that sanctioned, then we were wondering how we knew that unless we actually move in there, nothing is going to happen.
Anything happen in between before you get that land sanctioned? Some things which happened, which we wish to share, going to the offices, getting the files done. You were involved?
That was mostly Chanchalpati Prabhu and Madhu Prabhu, not me. Chanchalpati Prabhu was, because of his Kannada roots, he was very familiar with those people and he pushed a lot. And Madhuban Prabhu, we were meeting bigger people. So we really thought that, this whole institution was familiar with people. But as we started working in that direction, people really didn't know at that time anything about ISKCON. And even if they did know, it was all, useless information. So it was a challenge, actually, a huge challenge. Then once we got the land, then we decided to move all together. So there was a big grass shed that we made. By this Tamil Nadu, people know how to make these huge pandals. So we made a pandal. And then in a Rathayatra, Krishna and Balaram were brought. We made steps, wooden planks, steps all the way up, because there was no way to get there. So it was a huge thing. I mean, I don't know how we did all that. And there was a house just at the foot of the hill. And, I thought if we are ever going to have to live here, first we can't make facilities there right now. So we went and asked the owner whether we could. The owner is staying there. So he said, we're going to have a project. Can you, etc., etc. No, owner wasn't staying there. He had just built it. It was locked up. So we found out and we went. It's not like today, everything took time. There was no computer. There was no cell phone, nothing. Everything took time. So then we located the owner, and then with a lot of fuss, he allowed us to stay. So we all, brahmacharis, 2-3 grahasthas, everybody stayed in that small house. Brahmacharis were in the basement. We were on the terrace. There was a small place. And there were 2-3 bedrooms where other grihasthas were staying. And to go up, it was a big endeavor because it was full of snakes and,
the hillock is full of snakes.
It was just next to touching the house. So morning program, Mangalarti was real fearsome. So we used to go there and I don't know. And then we had this Krishna Balram.
I'm getting goosebumps when you share this.
So when Krishna Balram were there and everything seemed to fall in place, It was so beautiful. Simple. I think I prefer those days because things were simpler and more tangible. Now everything is institution. There it was like personal endeavor, and service.
So when you're putting those personal endeavors, you have a small set of devotees, and the construction which MPP envisioned, it's a mammoth. Even today, it's an iconic building. How did it start? You wanted to have such a building, or?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Even today, Madhuban Prabhu says, he didn't know how the dimensions were actually, manifesting, because we had a sketch. There was a friend of Madhuban Prabhu who helped with the sketch of the glass part. And then we took it to an artist. And those days, it was all desktop printing and all those things, no? took an artist. He did an actual painting of what we were trying to tell him, the hill, and we used to go and sit with the artist and tell him this is how it should be. So we had one good picture of the hill and how it should look when it's done. So with that, we started, actually the collection began with that one picture. And no idea. It just kept growing. The building just kept growing. And because the terrain is not flat, we had to design it in such a way that, as much of the land as possible is used. So that's why you have so many levels and such.
You had plans, I heard, that all the deities would be in one altar, and then it was changed.
Yeah, those deities were as it is, but then Prabhu said we should have Srinivasa Govinda and Narasimha, also in South Indian stone. So then we decided to place them there in the lower. So they're first going, they'll come and they'll get the blessings of Narasimha, then they'll go to Vaikunta and see Srinivasa Govinda, then they go up and see.
First remove all the obstacles and bless with.
Yeah, and then go and see Radha Krishna Chandra, Krishna Balaram and Gaur Nitai.
So these deities who are raising the Hare Krishna hill, you were involved in getting them?
Yeah, the same, because we had that little experience. So we multiplied it, the same thing. Now this time we got a more efficient, more experienced group of people to do the casting and the sculpturing. It's a very difficult process, very difficult. Because these people, they'll accept any number of orders, and they will do the wax model and they will cast. Okay. After casting is the biggest problem, because they have to remove all the extra stuff, actually start carving on the metal. It's a very tedious job, very tedious job. And there was times when we thought they won't even be ready. They have their own laid back kind of program.
You would commute regularly?
Yeah. Every week. And sit under the Kumbakonam blazing Tamil Nadu sun and do this. We used to go by bus and we used to do all this.
I had once, Taji, you were traveling and there was an accident. Do you remember?
Yeah. That was when Madhu Prabhu, Jayachatana Prabhu and I had gone together. And we were driving all night for coming, because staying over means spending, and those days there was no good hotels on those highways, small highways. They were not like this. So Prabhu was driving. He had taken the wheel, and suddenly we found that there was a tree in front of us, and since he applied the brake, we didn't ram the tree, but we fell off on a small embankment. It was about 4-5 feet. And the people this was like midnight. The people who were behind us, they got all alarmed and they got off from the vehicle and they came, and by then the farmers who were living, that was a farmer's property. He also came running, and we couldn't make out what actually happened, but actually it could have been a very critical accident, because you fell off the embankment. You would have and nothing happened to the car. Everybody pulled the car, and none of us were injured, or you would have rammed into that tree. So all sorts of things have happened. It's just like a bunch of excited kids trying to do something. That was what the mood was. Yeah, that was what the mood was. There was no huge
planning or strategy
planning,
or policy meetings.
Nothing. Just spontaneous. To spontaneous. A lot of wonderful mercy, actually. It was tough, huh? It was not that we enjoyed it like that. But now looking back, we realize
when the temple was coming up and the inauguration deadlines were there, the deities had to be brought up. And any last moment hiccups and the challenges.
Yeah, they were only hiccup. Nothing was ready, so there was only hiccup. Actually, I think on one of those Brahmotsavas during, I had spoken about that. Yes. Madhupam Prabhu's mind had totally got jammed because he was so much in anxiety that people are going to come. A date is fixed. We've been having since 1.5 months the yagnas going on to come to this level. Deities have not been placed. The temple hall has not been released to us by the Stapati. No, it was really frightening actually. So then I think the day before, the day and that the deities had to be brought up, just woke up and said, we have to do something. We all got together. We, whoever was around, we just took the brooms. I said, if the guys have finished or not, we have to clean. People can't enter this place if you don't clean it. So then we all got brooms and buckets and water and everything. And I don't know, it was...
You're talking about the temple hall.
Yeah. Temple hall. Because it was still like a construction site. And I think the next day was the installation. People were already coming. So then it was...
The president's visit was the next day? Or?
No, that was later. That was later. No, for the installation, we didn't get anybody like that. It was for the dedication or whatever. Installation was main. It was totally spiritual function. A lot of people from all over ISKCON, all the big guns had all come, and they were really surprised. Bunch of Indian kids have done all this.
What did they share at that moment when they saw this magnificent building?
I really don't know because we never had time to hear anything. And it had not sunk in even to us that all this was there. We were only doing day-to-day emergency things. We never had any time to sit back and see what is the building even. We just had to finish tasks one by one and get it done. That's what it was. It took quite many months to even for us to know how to navigate our way to the temple. This, whether you go this way or that way, all the people.
Even today, it's a big mystery to travel across this Bangalore temple.
Yes, that makes it exciting, though.
The temple was inaugurated, and suddenly you need to maintain so many deities, decorate them, the agamas and the pancharatras.
Biggest challenge. In that direction, Jayachandra Prabhu did a lot of study, and we got some basic things in place. But really, it was very challenging that we have to worship 5 sets of deities at a time. And not just small sets, the huge deities. And we were also not familiar. We had Krishna Balram and Nitai Gaur. And suddenly the next day you have all of them to deal with. It was very challenging. And because the deities were South Indian style, Dravidian style, we had already planned that we cannot make their dresses like the marble deity dresses. First of all, it won't suit. And so we decided to go with traditional Kanchipuram silk and so on for that. But it took years to actually come to a point where we could make them look grand. In the beginning, it was just trial and error. Deities had to, they were very patient with us. So with trial and error, we've got a hold of, several years have passed, how to dress them and decorate.
Any reciprocation which you would like to share with the deities?
I think everything is a reciprocation.
Obviously, it's something tangible and something which can be shared. Like, I wished it had happened like this and suddenly it happened, or something like that. I'm just pushing some words to you.
Well, no, not that I can. The main thing was we wished the land. Then we wished South Indian deities, and Yeah, nothing other than maybe very very personal. Other than that, nothing at an institutional level, nothing really.
Mataji, when we see that rich offering which we do it regularly and on festival days, there are a lot of Matajis behind that. So what would be a kitchen scene per se on a festival day, and how all such grand offering, 108 offering or more offering for all the deities, how important is this offering? How does Matajis put together and just make it that large scale on a daily basis, on a festival days also?
No, so we have about 5 to 6 standard experienced Matajis who do the Rajbhog cooking. And we have some very hardworking, they're very hardworking, some very hardworking brahmacharis also in the ashram who also turn out a lot of those special offerings during festivals. So they plan for these festivals because everything cannot be made the same day. So they start preparing dry items over a week. It starts 1 week before. And I'm not so much in the kitchen scene. So put together, my Chamari and Lalita Vishaka, she's another sister of mine. They both are very much involved in the kitchen part. And so together they allocate certain number of items to each Mataji and the ashram also separately. And they plan and they keep making to the point that but even then till the offering is made, it's hectic work. Hectic work. They stand, they've been standing almost 8-10 hours a day.
Your mother also
used to. My mother used to. My mother used to do that. She's a very fortunate soul. She did service to the Lord till about 15 years back. Now she's very much into her very old age. But she also, I don't know, she is a daughter of a divan, and then she comes and she does this, cooking in especially in our other places when the shed was there, making offerings for our first offerings and all, when these devotees had come down.
She also had moved in along with you later?
Later, yes. She had moved along with us. My father had gone for a few years to Mayapur. And then for a couple of 2-3 years to Vrindavan. So he was doing some services there. My mother was with us. So he left his body when he was there doing service in Vrindavan. So she was very sportive. My God, so sportive. And she would endear all the younger girls, and then together they would turn out these things. Very lucky soul she is. I mean, I think she's most fortunate.
Now when this construction is done and the deities are established and regular Archana Seva is happening, then we ventured out into other places for expansion. We had Mysore, we had VK Hill. How was the VK Hill part thought of? Because those...
No, that was much later. This was all much after Guru issue and all that. The Guru issue was from 98, 99. And it's still going on, of course. And the VK Hill thing came up about 20 years back. Actually, that came up when the situation was the lowest. Somehow this opportunity was there to go for an auction and buy that land. And Madhu comes up with real, strange moves, freaky moves. So he made this freaky move of going and going for that auction and getting the land. And people were so envious. We have envious public, we have envious, ISKCON also. So between the two, life has been pretty much hellish for many years. So then for a long time, there again, there was no clue what to do. It was also another, just a huge big hill. How do we deal with this? But then Prabhu decided we have to establish something here. Then, it will be it'll be a very direct offering to Prabhupada, and public will know that we mean business. But that took many years to take off because the land was bigger and therefore even more challenging to make some sense out of it. And then Prabhu decided we should have Balaji, and we should have a replica of Tirupati.
When you hear those from Madhu Pandit Prabhu directly, what a crazy man he is in that sense.
I said, what do you wish you do? What all are you talking about? I think everybody thought that. I mean, maybe I was the only one who voiced it, but many people would have thought, what is he talking about? Things that you can't imagine, you never think of. That's what he'll talk about. He's famous for that.
ISKCON Bangalore Hare Krishna is established. Aram se ja raha hai. And suddenly you catch up. You're still fighting with the other side.
Yes. Oh my God, fighting is not the word. Terrible fighting. I don't know, he's somebody else. He's from another dimension.
The Guru issue, when it broke out, he was the first person to tell you about it. How did you got to know about this?
Slowly, because a lot of murmuring was happening. And Prabhu, of course, Prabhu was the one who told me. And see, we were all in a totally different mindset, no? So it was like, getting struck by a storm, you understand? Prabhu was telling, so it had to be, nobody doubted it, but how do you, get your mind around this? How do you actually digest all this?
Difficult to reconcile when you are...
Yeah, my God. It took a lot of time. For Prabhu himself, it was evolving. Yeah, in theory it's correct. But to actually understand it, it took some time. But he will only do such things, very radical things.
Radical is the right word. How much time did it take for you to digest that Prabhupada is the spiritual master?
That was not difficult. But the difficulty was, what about the system that's existing?
Okay.
It was not difficult to understand that Prabhupada definitely is. Because we've also been observing all these people over the years. Because we never said anything or we never thought anything because we believed them. But then, their very awkward things that were going on, and none of us were at that level. Usually all those disciples were so sentimental and so, show of sentiment and all. I couldn't understand, none of us could understand it. So we used to keep away, just do our service, keep away, that's all. And so it was not difficult to understand. But then we were questioning, how can this have existed? How were we part of this? How do you break away from it? You see, that way. It was difficult.
Sanchalapati Prabhu in his podcast, I was the last person. I was so timid.
Yes, he was the last person. No, it was because by then, the Madhu Prabhu's standing is clear. He is very serious about KC, and whatever he does must have a lot of truth in it. There was no doubting that. So, but around that we had to figure out all the missing pieces.
Is that because you were closely associated with him?
Yeah, naturally. Yes, naturally. Because I am closely associated. So I know him as an individual. I know him that there's no hanky-panky. It's all very straight and there's no ulterior motivation at all. Absolutely. So there must be something really serious here. So then those days.
It's a roller coaster ride of Krishna consciousness, adventure, challenge, resilience. You have seen Prabhu winning the case and losing the case and still fighting it out, expecting a result. You have observed in close quarters.
Yeah.
Something which you want to share about him, which we don't know. Those dependence on the Lord and his personal attraction and attachment for the holy name.
If I can put it in briefly, Madhupan Prabhu is completely sold out on Prabhupada. He has absolutely no doubt, because from his experience, Prabhupada's absolute position. And he is a very sober human being. So the fact that he has, because his whole Krishna consciousness, it's a very, there's no social aspect to it. No, it's internal and completely dedicated in terms of external things for Prabhupada's pleasure only. There, I have never seen him being sociable or, trying to impress anyone or any of those things. It's a very sober human being. So, and his faith in Prabhupada is 100%. So, why did this whole thing happen is the whole Guru issue became so important for him because he found that Prabhupada was being betrayed. That was something he could not bear. He could not bear. And that these people have tried to take us away from the most important foundation of our existence, Srila Prabhupada. Such a contradictory thing. So how can we tolerate that? Even during the inauguration of the temple, somebody asked that, how did this come up? How did this come about? So Prabhupada had said, Madhu Prabhu had said that chanting Hare Krishna and focusing on Prabhupada's pleasure. That offended many people because they didn't want to hear that. They thought that they were individually contributing to what was happening there. So, I forget your question exactly. He's a very strong-willed person. Very strong-willed. If he takes up something, he will do it. That sort of thing. That's how he has remained. It's 27 years, 26 years since we started this warfare between ISKCON and ISKCON, Hare Krishna movement. Nobody could have sustained. There were times when you thought that everything is going to fall on the head, There were times when it seemed that, there was life threat. There were times when, they've done all sorts of things. Only MPP had the strength to withstand that. None of us could have withstood it otherwise. None of us could have. I can only say that it's a proof that this is what Prabhupada wants. And he found one guy who would do it. And he's given that job to him.
Mataji, life threat. And
yeah, life threat, because we used to hear a lot of these things nobody will tell, but the rumors and the stories that were going around, that they were even prepared to stop this Guru issue from escalating. They were prepared to even, because they knew that if MPP is disempowered, nobody can take the pressure that they can put, because they have money, they have men, they have everything. Okay. And here's one man fighting. Okay. So if that one man is disempowered, so we used to hear all sorts of rumors, black magic, all sorts of things, horrible things, to disempower and to, compromise this one man. All frightening, actually.
He stood tall facing all this.
He's still standing tall, facing it only. That's what I said. There is Prabhupada has decided that it has to be.
Because for us, we are privileged to be born into Srila Prabhupada's movement. It was given to us.
Right.
And these great souls are instrumental cause in having.
Had to fight for it. It's not ordinary fight. See, there is when there is a threat upon your devotional service, what is a bigger threat than that? Correct? And they just tell, those days it was like that they would just throw you on the street. You have nothing to do with this. It's ours. I mean, what does that mean? And they would not even give time and patient hearing to what the devotees were trying to say.
Kolkata
Prabhu
went
was.
through that.
Even when they came to Bangalore, it was terrifying actually, the way they were walking around as if we were criminals. As if they're going to, put us all in a lorry and put us in jail. That's the kind of vibration that was there. Terrible it was. And then during that time, the congregation that was there was, because congregation, really speaking, at all times, I mean, it's between us, we can speak like that. And they will always have something to talk about the temple devotees. It's always like that. So when they found that temple devotees were taking this stand, their bhakti for their guru grew so much. So they had all the strength of the congregation. And that was much more than the temple devotees, no? Much in terms of money and whatever it was. Really, it was like, being in a war front. When everyone looks at you like an enemy, that's a war front, no? Anytime they can shoot you, that's the situation. It was horrible. And they used to send people, and we used to hear rumors that Prabhu should be careful the way he moves around. One nightmare.
Many such nightmares.
Many. Every day was a nightmare. It really affected. It affected very deeply and emotionally. Very, very. I don't know how Prabhupada was constantly supplying strength to Prabhu. I don't know how it would have been.
Especially the High Court judgment.
That was the height of it. That was the height of it. We were all at the gate. We all stood there. What can we do? But then we had that one clause that till such time, nobody can. There was a stay on that. Otherwise, they were all waiting there. All the big guns, they were there, waiting at the gate to push it down. Then we had to we had to put so much pressure on the police that this cannot be done because there's this court order. The things should be as they are.
And Prabhu was sitting in front of the gate.
Yes.
Like a padya and fighting on the front
exactly.
line.
That's exactly what it was. Somehow time fades memory. But, if somebody could have actually captured, because we didn't think of capturing anything there.
That's an intent of all this.
Yeah. And there was there were no cell phones, so there was no, video taking or anything that was happening. None of these things were recorded because there was no means of doing that. So maybe I should really sit and consciously think,
work out,
and we evolve all the points more effectively. Now I'm just speaking off like that, out of the blues. But more effectively, should actually note down and talk about each little thing that...
we should have a series.
Yeah. But nobody could have imagined, I mean, I could not have imagined, I'm sure that's the case with everyone, that the institution that I had come just blindly walked into could turn out to be like this. My God. Imagine if if Prabhupada had not intervened and saved us from this calamity. We could have just been like them, no? Saved us from that calamity and made this whole endeavor meaningful. What is the use of serving all these people? God, that was very clear, the way they were scoffing at us, just like in the war front, you go to an enemy camp, how they treat you. They couldn't physically do it in front of everyone, but the entire vibration was like that. I went into total depression. And then I was diagnosed for clinical depression. Those few years were so bad. couldn't get a clue what was happening. And then, it's not that you think, oh, I shouldn't have joined, I shouldn't have done this. Nobody thought like that. But what next? Usually, sometimes when things get hard, why did I join ISKCON? I never thought, none of us thought, why did I join? Just think, how am I going to survive here? It's two different things, no? Because we have no other life. We really have no other life. Because mystically and with intervention of the Lord and Srila Prabhupada, we were here. We had no other life. We all came in very young. And how many? 40 years now. 40 odd. 43 odd. So there was nothing else to go to. Right? That's the point. If we would have had to sit in front of the gate and do garao. That's all we couldn't think of anything else. It was very, very horrible. Wherever Prabhu's name, wherever ISKCON Bangalore is spoken, people just scoff at you. You're like some piece of... That's okay, to be a piece of filth, I don't care. But why? And the irony is, all that you're saying is that you want to glorify Prabhupada. What is this? No, but their feelings are... There's nothing spiritual about it. Nothing spiritual. Because if you're spiritual, there is kindness, in spirituality, compassion. If somebody is saying something to glorify your guru, why should you become so defensive? What is the need to scuttle around and even the people who got us into this whole thing are now disappeared from the scene. Now nobody is there. Except us, nobody is there. They all want their perks and they don't want their devotional service to be threatened.
Mataji, PK Hill Radha Krishna Chandra was supposed to be in HKL. How come that happened?
Yeah. Originally, the VK Hill Radha Krishna Chandra were manifested. And then because of the proportion of the temple, there was a what shall I say, request or consideration from those who were on top those days that we should have bigger deities than those. So, so that's how this Radha Krishna Chandra came into manifested. And of course, the Lord has His own plans. So, those deities will go to the Sky Temple in VK Hill. And we did not want that any temple in Bangalore area should have deities with another name. So we consider any deity of Krishna and Radha who are installed within Bangalore to be expansions of these deities. Usually, when there are many in a particular city, like Bombay has so many temples, each of them have a different name. Somehow this, we are so fascinated by Radha and Krishna Chandra, and they are continuously so merciful to us. So we cannot call our lords in Bangalore by any other name. They are just manifestations of them. All these things, the Lord is, how He must be involved in all this, no? Who are we to think of these things? Who are we? Just insignificant jivas. But we can never think of any other deity except Radha and Krishna Chandra.
You're also present during the installation of Radha Vrindavan Chandra, and black deity was supposed to be installed.
Yes.
Then
I know.
If you can share those.
No, I wasn't directly involved. My sister was more involved. She was actually there. I only went for the inauguration. Those are the days, and those are the times that I wasn't really doing very well. So she has more of that experience. It's also really mystical, no?
you are involved in designing and construction of the temples.
No. I have no background like that. It's just that I have a what shall I say, a feel for form.
Okay.
So
it should appear in this format.
Yeah.
In this
That's
shape
what. So
dimension.
So when I sit, I just sit with the artist and say, these are the elements we should use because they're in this particular areas. And in South India, then we use South Indian elements, and I can a particular result. There's a word, visualizing. Yeah. So I have some visualizing. So that's how, and visualizing and form. When both these things are together, then I figure out a kind of a layout, and that would be suitable for depending on the different places we are working. When for Andhra, we've done something with Andhra, their kind of architecture, and that's how.
The projects which you have done like that, can you share, Mataji?
Of course, a large part of that is gone into HK Hill. BK Hill is, of course, more of a what we have now is traditional, and the other smaller unit is like our HK Hill. Then I have done many sketches with these people. Some aspects of Vrindavan, some aspects of Hubli, of Mysore, Vijayawada. These are some.
So all these temples are that typical expansion of HKL, where you have a concrete structure and there's a glass model.
Yeah. That's true, because we discovered that that combination really works in terms of appeal to the public. It's different. Otherwise, what will happen? We are not working with stone. It will take one lifetime to do.
Lifetime to do it, yes.
And we are not, and just putting up, cement for the sake of putting up buildings. There's nothing exciting about it. So this combination somehow clicked. Hyderabad also. Yeah. Somehow it clicked, and so we do that. We try to stick to the regional culture, architectural culture.
Mataji, the new aspects, last 2-3 years you're working on the Sadhika. If you want to share about...
The main intention is to make the girls understand, make women understand, not just girls, women, young women, that they have as much a right to spirituality as the men do. What happens that we have observed is that girls just come to the temple, and then there's so much of pressure from older women that Prabhupada said, you should get married, you should get married, you should get married. So their consciousness is only, okay, I want to marry a devotee. I mean, this is reality I'm talking about. So for them, KC and marriage are somehow linked together. So they don't really understand what KC is. So this is an opportunity for them to understand you are spirit soul. You don't need to be married, or whether you're married or not has nothing to do with your soul. So you should just, you are as well equipped as anybody else. So we educate them. You see, otherwise, by and large, young girls, in which direction their mind is. For men, you have a formalized ashram system. For women, we don't. And so we empower them spiritually and engage them in a lot of spiritually connected cultural activities. So they don't get bored, right? Not all of them are philosophically inclined. Very few are philosophically inclined. So it's somewhat in the lines of folk, but it's a little lighter. Because finally we cannot make them join, no? Because joining...
in India, even today, is a big...
imagine, it is still a big thing. And with girls, we have to be even more cautious. Because even boys joining, we know how much flack we receive for that. So with girls joining, we said, you don't have to join. So what happens is, they will become mothers and wives. So they would have at least, they will at least carry with them some of the more pleasing aspects, that life can be more pleasing with God as well. Because this world is a terrible world today. I cannot even imagine what those kids, what they do and what's in their head. It's unimaginable. But it's surprising that some 400 girls come, in a floating, not that every Sunday there are 400 girls, but they come. About 400, 500 girls are involved. And they come off and on. And they enjoy coming. And we teach them. We also give them some, materially empowering sessions like leadership, how to manage time and everything, and also Bhagavad Gita. And then we have a lot of cultural activities.
This Brahmotsav, we had two dramas.
Yes. So they're exposed to a whole different dimension, no? Because now they're only looking at their phone. They have no other life.
They have no other life.
And no other life. They're looking at the phone, they're getting contaminated, and they are, misleading themselves. Such a frightening world. So this is really Prabhupada's mercy. So just like we have benefited from it, we try to give it to these girls. And today really, it's not that today many girls come for the purpose of KC to the temple. Not simply to, spend time. So it's very empowering. Some of those girls have taken initiation. In the beginning, we thought we won't give initiations to unmarried girls, but now girls are getting initiated also. If we want any culture to grow, we have to educate the women and the men. No? All these strong cultures, Christianity, and even Sri Vaishnavism. So much they have spread because men and women have been educated. They get married, then it becomes a tradition. So we have to make
Prabhupada also taught us in that format.
Exactly.
For those girls and women who are watching this, because generally there are certain misconceptions and nuances of women practicing Krishna consciousness. Any kind words where you can encourage them, how they have to approach ISKCON temples or Hare Krishna movement, how they have to conduct themselves. Some thought process they can easily practice because they don't see any women practicing in our temples.
If we want to do something, if we are committed to do something, nothing can stop us. And in today's world, communication is so easy, whether it's in travel or thought communication. So if you are inspired and if your society or your family are creating obstacles, you should understand that even sitting at home, you can become very Krishna conscious because every information is available through.
We need not be in the temple to
we
practice.
We need not,
Yes.
But coming to the temple is always it's a special mercy. So they can, so nothing, I've practically seen that when the individuals become serious, the family understand. See? So it is up to us what we want to do. If we are serious, just like I always tell them, if you want to do something really, will you not do it? By hook or by crook?
True. Yeah.
So if you can do that, that means that's something you're so convinced about. So first you become convinced about KC. Then Krishna will give, and all directions, there's no limit to that. Here karma is, deciding how much we make it in material world. Here there's no karma involved. Prabhupada is there, freely giving you information. Krishna is there to give you all facilities. Everything is there.
While you're sharing this, we can always, if you want to join the Sadhika thing, we can.
We have a mission statement, which is right now not in my hand. It's just 3 sentences. I'll just get you the exact thing. Empowering women to become Krishna conscious. Not that they feel, oh, I have to be married, or there should be a man in my life to become Krishna conscious. Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Mataji, 2011, when we lost the case and any moment will be out, what was your feeling and what was Prabhu's feeling? And you were there with him. So those moments, if you can share.
I think the only feeling we had was that we had no other place to go but here. There was no plan B. And we could not even conceive that we could be anywhere else. So we never thought, there was no planning happening at that level.
Plan B.
No plan B. It's just that we are here with the Lord. Actually, the only thing we are at this point also interested about being in HK Hill. Because we are VK Hill also. What's the big deal? These are deities. They can take the land, just leave the deities for us.
They would say that you take the deities and go away.
They have said that at one time. But I don't know if they're going to say that now. And for us, that's all. See, because the deities, the deities are the life and soul of the devotees. I mean, if you are saying that you worship these deities for 25 years, now you just go away. Where is the life for the devotee after that? So it's not land, it's not property. I mean, why people can't understand as devotees this basic thing that the life of a devotee is the deity they worship. So even at this time, if they give all the deities, we'll just go away anywhere with them. Now we can take them to a lot of places there. So at that time also, we could not conceive living without these deities. There's no life at all. It's just blank. It's not a fear of being, out on the street and having no money or anything. None of those things.
Those thoughts even didn't strike at all.
Never struck. Never struck. Just the deities. Where is their life without our deities? That's all. The biggest fear is that only. Always. There's never been anything else.
You've been instrumental in getting the deities done for our other centers also. Like how that service have been for you. You can see in many forms of Radha and Krishna. And
yes, very, very humbling that I'm able to contribute some insignificant aspect for the deities who have manifested in so many temples. And I beg for their mercy.
Even our Utsava Radha.
So I just beg for their mercy. I just do it because I have some experience in that line and some kind of, you can call it some kind of skill or whatever. And the irony is that I'm not qualified technically for any of these things. So it's just one of those freak things that I have. If the deities are pleased with me, that's all I need.
The kind of attachment you expressed for the deities, how do we develop such kind of a raw, finer sentiments for those deities, like worshipping them, feeding them, decorating them, instrumental in getting them into the form they are in? For those devotees who are watching this, it just happens, or like how would I?
It just happens. It has to be bestowed by them. I don't think I have any qualification that is required to have those feelings. Absolutely. But it is bestowed. What can I say? Causeless mercy. We have that phrase, no?
Yes, causeless mercy.
And it really is causeless mercy. Because no qualification, no strengths, no nothing. But there is the attachment. That is really amazing. It is amazing.
Swami Prabhupada's vision for women devotees in ISKCON is something which is unheard of in the previous yugas or previous acharyas. So, what is something special about Prabhupada's dealing with his women devotees? How special it is?
It is special, just like a father has a lot of special love for his daughters.
Yes.
Mothers have a special love for their sons. So I think we're just reaping the compassion of Prabhupada's special. It is a little special fatherly love for his daughters. That's all, really.
Because he didn't discriminate between genders, and he engaged even women in the service of the Lord.
Yes. And it's not that we are all any, scholars or philosophical. Other institutions have. They have women sannyasis and all that. But here it was not at that level. It was just like anybody. Anybody can render service to Srila Prabhupada's mission. Anybody. Educated, not educated, spiritually, zilch or spiritually none of those things. Just that you want to serve me, you can serve me.
Even when Prabhupada's male disciples were a little upset with him giving opportunity for women disciples to sing or lead service, he was little saving from them and instilling that they have to do it, they should do it.
They should do it. True, that's very true. It was just his fatherly soft corner for his daughters. Soft corner.
So it's a pleasure hearing you, Mataji.
Prabhu, I don't know how much I could have conveyed. There's no planning, nothing happening here. So if you can gather enough to make some use of it, I humbly offer it to you.
Thank you so much for being here, frankly speaking. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.